Chillin' with Larry Megan.
Well, here we are, another Chillin' with Larry Megan on a Wednesday night. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. In the Classic Film Zone, we're going to talk about one of my all-time favorites, Guys and Dolls from 1955 with Frank Sinatra and, of course, Marlon Brando. He actually sings in this film. That's pretty interesting to see. And then in the Groove segment for the jazz, we're going to feature again. I grew up listening to Nat King Cole. My dad was a big fan of Nat King Cole, and he used to play his records all the time in our house, Nat King Cole, and we're going to show some clips from Nat King Cole. Then, of course, in the Always Chasing Rainbows, I've got a real special treat. A lot of you guys out there who know me, you know that I love the Rat Pack, Sammy, Frank, and Dean. Well, in 1962, Judy Garland did a television special with Judy, Frank, and Dean. Sammy wasn't there, but we're going to show a couple of clips, including a long one with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Judy Garland. So that's a special treat. Now, a little housekeeping here. Tonight, on our Acorn Exchange, and you'll see it right here on the screen here. You see it says Acorn Exchange. If you go to www.acorn.tv. Now, a lot of you are already watching us on Acorn TV. If you're watching us on Ustream or Zadalza, you're going to want to open up another browser, okay, and go to acorn.tv. Not acorn.com, but acorn.tv, and you're going to see at the top of the screen, you'll actually see a link that says the Acorn Exchange, or there's a big banner that goes across the bottom of the home page that says click here for the Acorn Exchange for the Giant Oak Offering. Now, the Giant Oak Offering, there's the picture of it right there from Sterling Original. And again, many of you know I'm president of Sterling Original. That's my day job. I just got back from Las Vegas from a training conference seminar that we held for one of our retailers, 165 stores, and I flew back in this morning. But anyway, this is our Symphony Menuet, a nice 44 millimeter timepiece, and I'm going to show you the piece. I'll talk about the piece a little bit here. But this is an amazing, amazing offer tonight. I want to thank Mr. F tonight for this one. He kind of blew me away on this one. This was we used to sell this piece for $400 on one of our big distribution channels. Well, tonight you can actually pick this up for under $100, $97.75. You have to use the code word Brando, as in Marlon Brando. You know, again, we're going to feature Guys and Dolls tonight. We're going to see Marlon Brando actually sing in a movie musical. So tonight the code word is Brando. Brando. You're going to put that into the code, the discount code coupon box, and you'll see the price drop from $379 to $97.75 plus the $850 for the shipping and handling. But this is a tremendous opportunity. We have it available in the silver tone, as you see here on the screen, and also in a gold tone. We don't have that many of the gold tones, though. Okay, and we don't have a lot to go around, so we did put a maximum limit on this of only 2 pieces per customer. So if you want to take advantage of that, the code word Brando will last all the way up until the first run of the show, which is 24 hours, which is midnight tomorrow night. I don't think these are even going to last through the show, but if it does, tomorrow all day long it will be available. But again, not that many to go around. I actually brought one of these. If we can just take a moment here. If I can show this now, I'm going to try and show it here on our webcam. Not easy to do, but it comes in a very nice presentation box. You can actually, see the sleeve that it comes in. If you want to pick this up for Christmas as a gift for somebody, if you're not in the market for a dress piece, I mean, this is a very elegant dress piece at 44 millimeters, but what a gift item this makes for somebody you know. It's like a boardroom style of piece. It actually comes from our boardroom collection in a really nice presentation box. You open the box, it comes like this, if you can see it right there. Okay, there you go. And then let's get that cloth out of there. There we go. And it's a really nice presentation. There's the watch. I'm going to take the watch out of the box. Here we go. just to show you this timepiece. I mean, this is so elegant. It is amazing. It's not only is it a mechanical automatic, but it has a day, date, month, which is a master calendar, and at the 6 o'clock position, it actually has an animated AM/PM indication. So you're getting a master calendar with AM/PM, and it's all being done on a mechanical automatic timepiece. An amazing offer. Beautiful dress piece for under $100. So take advantage of that if you can. They're not going to last. That's our Acorn Exchange Giant Oak offer of the evening. And also now for all you watch geeks that tuned in, we had a lot of action on my Facebook page today, and I want to thank our good friend Jim Skelton for saying check it out. Thank you, Jim, for that, and a few others of you that really got behind it and helped to spread the word. I really do appreciate it. But in doing so, I actually talked to one of the Watch Geeks today. If you're not familiar with Watch Geeks, it's a forum on the internet. And it's a whole group community, over 20,000 members of watch collectors. And, of course, I do a lot of home shopping television for watch collectors over on Shop NBC. I'm going to be there next Wednesday night. We have a top value for Sterling Original. But in, going about today, spreading the word a little bit, I actually came in contact on the phone with one of the Watch Geeks who told me Big Joe. A lot of you know Big Joe. He's an ambassador for Watch Geeks. He's got something like 25,000 posts. Big Joe was the one that invited me into the community about 3 years ago. And my friend Bob told me, Big Joe's in the hospital. And I said, what? He said, yeah, he's got some kind of a heart condition, and it was very serious. And so I actually called Big Joe at the hospital, and I said, Joe, do you mind if we give you a call tonight? So he sounded in very good spirits. Let everybody know how you're feeling. So, Anthony, if we can get Big Joe on the phone, we'll give it a try. Who knows? He might be sedated. He might be asleep by now. It's pretty late. But Joe said, sure, give him a try, and he'll try to be up. Big Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, Big Joe, welcome to Chillin' with Larry Megan. Of course, you and I have had many conversations on the phone, but we've never done it live, on the internet or on the air before. How you feeling, Big Joe?
I'm feeling great. They're taking good care of me here. Yeah.
Well, for all the Watch Geeks that are tuning in to Chillin' right now, I want everybody to, give them a little, rundown of, what happened, Joe.
Well, what happened was I was at home and just doing, my daily routines and stuff. I started to feel like very labored in my breathing.
What was that?
And I started to feel very labored in my breathing.
Okay.
And also extremely weak. So, I was putting up with this for about a week, and I decided that it was time to go to the hospital,
Joe, if you would, if you could just kind of turn down the sound on your computer there in your hospital room. We're hearing the feedback come through here, and there's a delay. Just turn that down. We have a couple of pictures. If you remember now, I was at your Watch Geek get-together just a few weeks ago that you had in Long Island, but last June you had a big one also, and I was able to get a couple of pictures. And here's Big Joe. If you don't know Big Joe out there, he's called Big Joe for a reason. And Joe, I don't know if you can see the computer screen, but here you are. You're actually drinking a beer. Now, Joe, is drinking a beer good for your condition?
Well, I don't think it would hurt anything, really, It
probably helps you.
A beer never hurts you. It's good for you.
That's what I was saying. It's probably good for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
but anyway, what happened was it turned out that I had atrial fibrillation, which is the atriums on the heart don't pump as good as they're supposed to, and it gives you a abnormal arrhythmia, on your heartbeat. So what they're trying to do is get that stabilized. And once they get that stabilized, I'll probably be on Coumadin for the rest of my life. But, it's an interesting experience, something I don't want to go through again. But, like I said, they're taking good care of me. I feel good. And it's really an honor to be on your show.
Well, it's great, Joe. I mean, I know you've been watching the shows, and you've been a big supporter of Sterling Original and, of course, of mine, and I really do appreciate it. We just showed a picture on the screen of you and 50mm Rick at your Port Jefferson get-together last June, and you guys are both wearing...
I know. What's really upsetting about this is I had planned on seeing Rick and Sean on Friday and then going to the WatchGeek get-together on Saturday, which Alan is throwing. And I'm really, you have no idea how upset I am that I can't go to that.
Well, wait a minute, Joe. Didn't you tell me you were getting out of the hospital on Friday?
Maybe. We don't know for sure yet.
So here's a picture.
That's just a target date. That's not a guarantee.
So if you get out, you can still make it.
That's true.
You can drive 4 hours up to Boston, can't you?
Oh yes. I do all the time.
I know. And you know what, Joe? If you could, I know you would. Here is a picture we're showing of your get-together in June at Port Jefferson, the whole gang. I think there was about 50 guys there.
Right.
Yeah, and your get-togethers are pretty famous. I mean, there's these group get-togethers all over the country, but I think the Big Joe get-togethers probably draw the biggest crowds of all of them in the country.
That's because we have fun, brother.
Well, listen, Joe.
We have lots of fun.
Listen, I know there's a lot of people out there in Watch Geeks that send their love. I read a lot of the posts on the threads on Watch Geeks. They're all wishing you well, and I know you're reading them too in your hospital bed. So I want to give you, my love, and I want to wish you well, Joe. You were the one that invited me to join Watch Geeks about 3 years ago, and I'm going to pay you back for that someday too. Believe me. But,
okay, Larry.
No,
you take care of yourself, my brother, and
okay.
Peace and love to you.
All right, Big Joe. Be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. That was great to hear Big Joe. I talked to him today. I said, do you think you can, have it in you to be up tonight and talk on the phone? He said he would love to, and that was great. And I know there's a lot of guys out there that wanted to hear his voice. Well, that was great. And now we're going to get, as I mentioned, our classic film zone. And I'm getting a message over here that the Acorn TV site is their orders are being taken. So that sounds great. A lot of you are reacting to that symphony minuet. So thank you all for that very much. We're going to go into the classic film zone right now. We're off to a great start here tonight. In the classic film zone, one of my all-time favorite musicals. As you all know by now, I love the musicals, but this one kind of is a little bit different. This is a Frank Loesser musical. Frank Loesser, legendary composer, arranger, songwriter as well. He wrote the music and the lyrics, one of the few guys that did that for Broadway shows, and he took it over to film. He actually wrote all the music score for Guys and Dolls for the Broadway play back in 1950, and they brought it to film. Samuel Goldwyn is the one that believed in Loesser for the movies, and he brought it to film, and it was actually distributed by MGM, the only Samuel Goldwyn film ever that was produced that was distributed by MGM. Legendary film. A lot of backstory on this one, and we'll tell it as we go along, but I've got a lot of clips here for you. You're seeing some of the poster shots for Guys and Dolls with Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons, Vivian Blaine, Frank Sinatra, and the film debut of Stubby Kaye. Stubby Kaye was a somewhat of a star on Broadway in New York, and he does an incredible job in this film. And to get the film kicked off and started, we've got a short clip called A Horse Right Here. And before we get into the clip, just a quick setup. These guys are kind of New York, Brooklyn kinds of guys that are gamblers. But there was a certain style to the gamblers in those days. They didn't just speak with contractions like the word can't. They would say cannot. There would be no contractions. There was a certain style to the gamblers in those days. And Frank Sinatra, he's the leader of the group. He's Nathan Detroit in this film. And, he's got the biggest floating crap game in New York. And he's got his followers there, including Nicely Johnson, played by Stubby Kaye. But this opening number, where they're going to the racetrack, trying to figure out what horse they're going to bet on, really sets the tone for the movie. It gets you feeling good about the music. So let's check out Stubby Kaye and friends in A Horse Right Here. Check this out.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do this guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do, can do, can do.
I'm picking Valentine, 'cause on the morning line, the guy has got him figured at 5 to 9. But make it FS10, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph.
For Paul Revere I'll fight, I hear his foot's all right. Of course it all depends if it's red last night.
I know it's Valentine, the morning works look fine. You know the jockey's brother's a friend of mine.
And just a minute, boys, I got the feedbox noise. It says the great-grandfather was equipoised.
I tell you, Paul Revere, now this is no bum steer. It's from a handicapper that's real sincere.
I'm picking Valentine, 'cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9.
So make it FS10, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph. FS10,
Paul Revere,
I got the horse right here.
Well, there you go. You can kind of get the feeling for this musical already. Well, as the plot develops, Nathan Detroit, like I said, he's kind of the leader of the gang here, where he's setting up his crap game all over town. The problem is that Nathan Detroit doesn't have enough money to rent the garage. He does it in a different location all the time, and he doesn't have enough money to rent the garage on where he's going to, the garage wants $1,000. He doesn't have the $1,000 to rent the space, and they want the money up front. So he's trying to figure out where's he going to get the money. And, of course, one of the big kingpin gamblers, that's known is Sky Masterson, played by Marlon Brando. And, of course, Nathan sees Sky Masterson in town, and he figures that maybe he can sucker Sky Masterson out of $1,000 by betting him, if Mindy's, a famous restaurant in New York, if Mindy's sold more cheesecake or more strudel the day before, and he goes and he gets the actual information, and so he's fixed. And he's trying to bait Sky Masterson into a bet for $1,000 so he can get the money for his crap game. Well, Sky Masterson is just too slick for that. And so now this here, you see some nice pictures from the movie. There's Sinatra with the dice in his hands and everything. But Sky Masterson doesn't fall for it, and so now Nathan Detroit is stumped. How is he going to get the money? And Sky Masterson says he's boasting about how he can take any girl, any chick, he can take her to dinner in Havana. And so at that moment, Nathan Detroit sees Sarah Brown, and she's the leader of Save a Soul, and she's Miss Straight. And he sees her walking down the street with her marching band, looking for sinners. And so he says, I'll bet you $1,000 that I can name a dame that you can't take to Havana for dinner. And so Sky Masterson, of course, takes him up on the bet. And then he says Sarah Brown. And he sees out the window, he sees who she is. And he kind of knows he's pretty much done. He's not going to be able to do it, but he plods on, and he figures, all right, I'm going to go through with it. And he goes over to the mission, and he walks in to Sarah Brown's mission, and he tells him, of course, that he is a sinner. She's looking to reform sinners, that he's a gambler and so forth. And he's trying to win her over by, and she's not having any of it. She's too straight for him. But she's kind of falling for him, and he's falling for her. And that sets up this next number, Marlon Brando as Sky Masterson with Gene Simmons. Did you ever think you would see Marlon Brando singing in a musical? And by the way, before we see this clip, let me say this. It was Samuel Goldwyn that believed in having Brando in this musical because he had such huge appeal at the box office after A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront. Brando was huge, but those were for dramatic roles. And so he brought him in, and he worked very hard with Frank Lesser to be able to kind of, sing the melody to the words, and it actually came off just great. Here's Marlon Brando and Gene Simmons. What? I love that number. Now, Brando, we're talking here in the studio. Brando may not be the greatest singer, but come on, man, you got to give him props for that. I mean, he was a famous method actor one of the hottest actors of all time, and even at that time, at the height of his popularity. And for him to take this challenge to do that, what a risk. And I say you got to give him a lot of props, Anthony. You're a professional singer now, Come on. It worked. He made it work. Thank you. He really did. You got to give him a lot of props. But I love the whole Gene Simmons. You could tell she's smitten with him already there. But, as the movie unfolds, we learn, of course, that Nathan Detroit, who's played by Frank Sinatra, he's got a fiancée, which is Adelaide, and she's a showgirl. And they've been engaged for 14 years. And he keeps, putting her off, and she wants to get married. And, and every time, he stands her up all the time for his crap games and things like that. And he had promised to go out with her, and then he had to, break the promise. And, of course, she's upset about that. And it leads to a number called Adelaide's Lament. Now, Adelaide is played by Vivian Blaine, another well-known actress and star on Broadway and everything, and I'll give you a little more about her. But this number, we actually, the whole scene is about 10 minutes. We cut it down to about 6, but it's just a classic scene because she couldn't tell her mother that they've been engaged for 14 years. So somewhere along the way, maybe after a couple of years, she actually told her mother that they were married. And, of course, Nathan Detroit Sinatra never knew. And in this scene, she actually confessed that, she told mother that they were married. And not only were they married, but they had a child, Nathan Jr., and now he's in college, and he just won the football game and all these things. And then a couple of years later, they had a daughter. And he says, well, how many total? Just give me the grand total. And she says 5. So supposedly they have 5 kids. And so she just says, never mind that. Don't worry about that. She's just begging him to get married. And so we're going to pick it up here with Adelaide's Lament with Vivian Blaine and Frank Sinatra. Check this one out. We're going to go to a quick break here. Don't go away. When we come back, we have 2 more numbers, including Frank Sinatra singing Sue Me from Guys and Dolls. We'll be right back.
Chill with Larry Megan.
The very first Zidalza charity concert. All ages show, Portchester, New York. St. Peter's Church. Connected to all major highways and a block away from the Portchester train station. $10 donation at the door for every wristband. 100% of proceeds will be split between the St. Peter's and St. Jude's Children's Hospital and Research Center. Performances by Bo Valentine and DJ Smooth. American Pinup. Set the Charge. Jay Butler and C Nature. Program City. Infectious by Nature. Support a beautiful cause and help create the live music scene Westchester has never had before.
The first Zidalza charity concert takes place on Saturday, November 6, 2010 at 7 p.m.
Zone with Guys and Dolls, and it's been great so far. Now listen, I want to just do a quick little reminder here tonight on the Acorn Exchange. We still have some of the Symphony Menuet timepieces available. You go to acorn.tv, www.acorn.tv, open a new browser. If you're on Zidalza, don't leave Zidalza. If you're on acorn.tv already, all you have to do is click on the banner at the bottom that says click here for the Giant Oak offering, or click at the top where it says Acorn Exchange, and it'll take you right to it. Tonight, you can pick this timepiece up for only $97.75 plus the shipping and handling. It's an amazing, amazing offer from Sterling Original. I want to thank Mr. F for that, but it's a 44-millimeter case design from our boardroom collection, the Symphony Menuet with the coin edge bezel. Day, date, month, and AM/PM indication on a mechanical automatic. Tremendous opportunity. Pick up a great gift item for somebody else if it's not for you. Just a great boardroom piece in gold tone or silver tone. acorn.tv. All right, we're in the classic film zone. Thank you for that, Anthony. And we just saw Adelaide, with the whole Adelaide's Lament. Frank Sinatra has been putting her off for 14 years. And there's so much of this movie that we're not going to show. We're not going to see Marlon Brando sing Luck Be a Lady Tonight, which, frankly, Frank Sinatra is very legendary. He was actually very jealous. He wanted the role of Sky Masterson mainly because he wanted to sing that number, Luck Be a Lady Tonight. And, of course, after the movie was completely done with production, Sinatra, of course, did record Luck Be a Lady, and, big, big hit for Sinatra. But actually, Marlon Brando did a fabulous job with Luck Be a Lady, but we just can't show them all. Now, what we're going to show you next from the movie, we're featuring Guys and Dolls tonight, big hit from 1955, one of the great musicals of all time. We're going to show you a number called Guys and Dolls, and this is where you have, Stubby Kaye and, a couple of his cohorts there, and it's all about, what guys will do for their dolls. They'll go to they'll get themselves in all kind of trouble, for their ladies, And so it's a great number here. We're going to check it out now. This is Guys and Dolls from Guys and Dolls. There you have it. Sinatra, Stubby Kaye. Not sure who the other gentleman was, but just a great number there. Now, back to the plot of Guys and Dolls. Sinatra, as the way that last clip started out, as Nathan Detroit, he had a bet with Sky Masterson of $1,000 that he couldn't take Sarah Brown to Havana for dinner. And here's some great pictures, from the production of Guys and Dolls. And so what Brando does, Sky Masterson that is he makes a deal with Sarah Brown. Actually, he won a bet about the Bible. And so he makes a deal saying that if you'll come to dinner with me in Havana, and of course he's doing it so he'll win the bet. But if you'll come to dinner with me in Havana, I will bring you at least 12 sinners to your midnight prayer meeting to save a soul. And they are in danger of losing their mission. So if they don't get any sinners in the mission, they're going to lose it. So Sarah Brown agrees, Gene Simmons agrees to go to Havana for dinner with Sky Masterson so she can save her mission. And, of course, she really falls in love with Marlon Brando and Sky Masterson in Havana. And so he does take her, and they do have dinner. And now, sure enough, Sky Masterson must live up to his marker and deliver 12 sinners to the mission. And Sinatra himself, as Nathan Detroit, is one of the sinners. And so he has to go to the prayer meeting. But he did have a previous engagement once again with Adelaide. And so he's going to have to break his engagement for dinner or to go out with Adelaide to go to this, quote, prayer meeting so that he can win his bet as well. He doesn't know at this point that Sky Masterson actually took her to Havana. Sky Masterson didn't really feel like, winning the bet because he started to fall in love with Gene Simmons, and so therefore he didn't want to win that way. He wanted to keep that to himself. So Sinatra's going to go to the dinner, and he's going to stand up Adelaide once again, or to the prayer meeting, I should say, to help her save the mission. And he bumps into Adelaide at Mindy's. And this is where she kind of, catches him, before he could stand her up. And he sings a very famous song called Sue Me. And before we actually show this clip, let me say this. There's been a lot written and a lot spoken about the battle between Frank Loesser, the music composer, arranger, songwriter, who wrote all these incredible songs, and Frank Sinatra. They were called the dueling Franks, Sinatra and Loesser. And, of course, Sinatra was such a big star that he generally got his way. And at one point, Frank Loesser actually ran out and walked out. He said, I'm done during the production. I'm out of here. Later on, he thought better of it and he came back. But a lot of their disagreements were how the songs were to be sung. Loesser was known for his Broadway style of coaching the singers. He wanted the singers to come in and audition. They had to really belt it out from the stage. It's not the same as in a film. And he liked big belters to sing big like Broadway singing. And of course, Sinatra doesn't like to sing that way. Sinatra has his own style, and he wanted to put his own spin on these lesser songs, and he wanted to croon it the way he did. And I say thank God that Sinatra won out, because this is a great example where you see Vivian Blaine as Adelaide kind of singing in that Frank Lesser style, and then Sinatra crooning with Sue Me. So it's just a classic number. This will be the last number we're going to show from Guys and Dolls, but here it is, Sinatra singing Sue Me. Of course, he goes to the prayer meeting and then later the crap game. But in any case, that's enough for Guys and Dolls. We're going to move on, but there is a happy ending. At the end of the movie, of course, it's a double wedding, and Sinatra marries Vivian Blaine, and Marlon Brando marries Gene Simmons, and they all happily get married, and it's pretty cool. So check out Guys and Dolls from 1955, an all-time classic. You're going to love that piece. Well, listen, now we're going to go into our jazz segment here. We call it In the Groove, and tonight we're featuring Nat King Cole, In the Groove. I've got a bunch of different clips. We'll get to as many of them as I can, and we're just going to sit back and chill and enjoy Nat King Cole. So let's go In the Groove.
Listen, Paganini, please play my Rhapsody. And if you cannot play it, won't you sing it? If the boys are bobbing, ain't no need in stopping. Listen, Paganini, we breathlessly await your masterful baton. Come on and spring it. If the boys are bobbing, ain't
All
no
right,
need in
Ella Fitzgerald once again. We're going to talk about Nat King Cole here. Again, I grew up listening to Nat King Cole records. My father was crazy for Nat King Cole, and it just rubbed off on me. And to this day, I still have CDs. I have even collectors long play record albums, 33 1/3 record albums that are in mint condition in one of my storage units out there. I don't know, but I have them. In any case, Nat King Cole, he started off very young, and he made his way into the music business as a jazz pianist, and he's regarded as truly one of the great jazz pianists of all time, long before he got into his vocals as just a great vocalist. In fact, a lot of his early jazz fans or jazz musicians, they kind of got upset with Nat because they felt like he left them to go into commercial pop, American pop music as a vocalist. But every now and then he showed his piano skills never left him. But he was born in 1917 in Montgomery, Alabama, and he was hailed as one of the best and most influential pianists and small group leaders of the swing era. He did, as I mentioned, attain his greatest commercial success, of course, as a vocalist, specializing in his really nice ballads and his light swing mood that he liked to sing. He grew up in Chicago, and by the age of 12, he sang and played organ in a church where his father was the pastor. He formed his first jazz group called the Royal Dukes 5 years later when he was only 17 years old. And then in 1937, after he toured with the Black Musical Review, he began playing in jazz clubs in Los Angeles. And there he formed the famous King Cole Trio right there that you see, originally called King Cole and his Swingsters, with his guitarist Oscar Moore and bassist Wesley Prince. The trio specialized in swing music with a real delicate touch, and in the sense that they didn't have a drummer, which at that time was very unique. And also his voice of the piano and guitar often sounded like a single instrument with his voice and the guitar of Oscar Moore. Well, as the King Cole Trio, I think we're going to go to our very first clip when he did play with the King Cole Trio, and it's called Better to Be By Yourself as the King Cole Trio. Let's just get a little minute and a half here of Nat King Cole in his early days.
It is better to be on the shelf, be just just like a hermit living in a cave. You don't get much loving, but the dough you save makes it better to be by yourself. She say, I'll see you gate. Now he works all day and come home at night. Instead of little bitty petting, all she wants to do is fight. So it's better to be by yourself, boy. It's better to be by yourself, oh man. It's better to be by yourself, boy.
Tasty stuff.
That was hot. That was at the very end there. That was actually Ray Charles and Clint Eastwood there. That clip was from a documentary that was produced by Clint Eastwood. And I guess we didn't cut it tight enough there, but nevertheless, that's cool. That's the way it came. But that was tight. And you saw his dexterity on the keyboards there. I mean, that's what Nat King Cole first, broke in as a jazz pianist. And he was very, very influential. During the late 1930s and the early 40s, the trio made several instrumental recordings, as well as, many others that included the, Nat King Cole singing with his great, singing voice. And we've got another. Check this one out. Here's a nice picture of Nat King Cole here. But they did find their greatest success, of course, once Nat King Cole, stepped to the front and started, singing solo. And in addition to his piano playing. And his first real hit, chart success, was Straighten Up and Fly Right in 1943. And that was a huge hit. And he followed that up with Sweet Lorraine and It's Only a Paper Moon, and For Sentimental Reasons, and also Route 66. These were the real numbers and hits that really launched Nat King Cole into really superstardom. And we've got a song here again from early Nat. The Trouble with Me is You. The Trouble with Me is You. Let's check it out, Mr. Nat King Cole.
In an individual style, nobody like Nat King Cole.
I'm calling you up, but you're calling me down. I want you to smile, but you give me the frown. It's easy to see that the trouble with me is you. I'm taking you out, but you're taking me in. You're calling it quits when I want to begin. It's easy to see that the trouble with me is you. Just when I know that my heart says go, you stop. Then when I start to feel high, you let me drop. With a flop. You're brushing me off, then you're leading me on. You tell me you stay, then I find that you're gone. It's easy to see why I happen to be so blue. 'Cause the trouble with me is you. you're calling me down. I want you to smile, but you give me the frown. It's easy to see that the trouble with me is you. I'm taking you out, but you're taking me in. You're calling it quits when I wanna begin. It's easy to see that the trouble with me is you. Just when I know that my heart says go, you stop. Then when I start to feel high, you let me drop with a flop. You're brushing me off, then you lead me on. You tell me you'll stay, then I find that you're gone. It's easy to see why I happen to be so blue. 'Cause the trouble with me is so easy to see. Because the trouble with me is you.
Oh, yeah, that was obviously from a TV show in the 1950s. You know, you had a lot of these stars, these singing stars and everything, doing everybody's TV show. And we've got a clip. Karen, do we have that clip from the Jack Benny show? Is that the next one? I think it is. Let's take a look. No, you know, before we do, let me make a last plug here for the Acorn Exchange. This will be the last plug for the night here. If you haven't picked it up already, you go to acorn.tv and you click on the Giant Oak offering, or you at the top you can click on Acorn Exchange, and that's at www.acorn.tv. And for the discount code, we have our Symphony Menuet. You put in the word Brando, 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 and you'll be able to get this watch for $97.75 plus the $8.50 shipping and handling. A tremendous value from Sterling Original. Our Symphony Menuet mechanical automatic with day, date, month, and AM, PM indicator, all operating off of a mainspring. A super value, a boardroom piece, a great gift item. Now, that's a gift from Sterling Original. Don't miss that. Silver tone or gold tone. Use the code word Brando, and it's yours. All right. Now, back to Nat King Cole. We have another clip of Nat singing Sometimes I'm Happy. And that kind of fits me. Sometimes I'm happy, and I have sometimer's disease. You know, sometimes I'm happy and sometimes I'm not. But in any case, I try to be happy all the time. But let's check out Nat King Cole.
For our combo selection, we like to do an old favorite, Sometimes I'm Happy. Murph, you want to bring us in? Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm blue. My disposition depends on you. I never mind the rain from the sky if I can find the sunshine in your eyes. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I hate you, but when I hate you, it's 'cause I love you. That's how I am, so what can I do? I'm happy when I'm with That's how I am, so what can I do? I'm happy when I'm with you. I'm happy when I'm with you.
Mr. Nat King Cole. Now, you know, Nat King Cole certainly had his, his stable of signature songs. And, of course, one of the most recognizable songs of his and most signature songs of his was Mona Lisa. And this was a song that, of course, he became identified with. And it's still, played today, and it's still very identifiable even today. And he played with, music arrangers like Billy May and Nelson Riddle, and he sang these kind of very, lush, big orchestral arrangements on Mona Lisa and Nature Boy and Too Young and A Blossom Fell, and of course we all know Unforgettable. We're going to take a look at that one just a little bit later with his daughter, but and that was orchestrated digitally. But nevertheless, here is that signature song, Mona Lisa, Nat King Cole.
Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, men have named you. You're so like the lady with the mystic smile. Is it only 'cause you're lonely they have blamed you for that Mona Lisa strangeness in your smile? Do you smile to tempt the lover, Mona Lisa? Or is this your way to hide a broken heart? Many dreams have been brought to your doorstep. They just lie there. Are you warm? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Or just a cold and lonely, lovely work of art? Mona Lisa.
Gosh, I'll tell you what. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you all for indulging me so much. I just dig Nat King Cole. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be, but if I'm not mistaken, that might have been from Nat King Cole's television show in 1956. It might have been colored or colored later, but it could. You think so, Karen? Yeah, that could have been from his TV show. And of course, Nat King Cole was, in fact, the first African American to host his own television show. Another one for the record books. It only lasted 1 year, and we could talk a lot about why and so forth. But nevertheless, a lot of it had to do with sponsors. But I think that was from his TV show in 1956. Now, some of his other big hits, of course. Ramblin' Rose, and that was one of my dad's favorite. My dad used to kind of play the piano too, and he was actually pretty good. And he'd sit there and he'd play Ramblin' Rose, and I'll never forget that. Those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, and of course everybody identifies Nat King Cole with Love, L-O-V-E. L is for the way you look at me. Well, Nat King Cole tore that one up, as we all know. But his talents really did go beyond just singing and playing piano, although obviously he was a great singer, great piano player, but also he excelled at his at being relaxed in television and also in film. He was he was a very capable actor, and he was in a number of films, including Istanbul in 1957, China Gate 1957, also Night of the Quarter Moon 1959. Cat Ballou might have been one of his most famous movies. That was in 1965. And he also played himself in the Nat King Cole musical Story, and that was in 1955. He was also, he portrayed the blues legend W.C. Handy in St. Louis Blues in 1958. Just such a huge background. And of course, everybody knows that his daughter, who's still with us today, and I'm a big fan of Natalie Cole. His daughter Natalie Cole is got a great voice in her own right, and I personally love watching Natalie Cole because I believe that, through her, Nat King Cole's spirit is still alive today. You can hear that quality, that tonal quality in her voice that came from her father. And, of course, she grew up around all these great legends as a little child, you know, around Ella Fitzgerald and, you know, so many others, and Peggy Lee and just so many others. And Karen, in Karen's research, I want to thank her because she dug up this clip, and this was clearly from the 1950s of, everybody knows, you know, I love that one cool hip cat, Sammy Davis Jr. I like to think I'm Sammy Davis Jr. I love Sammy Davis. And of course, Sammy Davis was a great impressionist. I mean, of all his talents, he could sing, dance, act, do it all, but he was a great impressionist. And one of his great impressions that he was known for was Nat King Cole. And so we dug up this clip of Sammy Davis Jr. It's only about a minute long, so if you blink, you're going to miss it. But Sammy Davis and Nat King Cole, and Sammy, of course, imitating Nat. And then you'll see Nat King Cole kind of imitating Sammy, imitating Nat. Because, you know, Sammy kind of exaggerates the Nat King Cole style. And so then Nat makes fun of Sammy. It's pretty cool. Check this out. I mean, these are two legends of all time, Sammy Davis and Nat King Cole.
I used to walk with you along the avenue. Our hearts were carefree and gay. How could I know I'd lose you somewhere along the way? Mind if I come in? You might guess. The friends we used to know would always smile hello. And with it our love like our love, they say. Then love slept through our fingers. Cheat! Somewhere along the way. Somewhere along the way.
Come on now. You got to give it up for Sammy Davis and Nat King Cole. I'm sorry. You know, my friend Daryl in Los Angeles, I know Daryl's probably not watching. He's probably out tonight, whatever. But if Daryl was watching, he would say, Larry, you know, I can't watch all your dead guys because Daryl and I spent a lot of time together, and I'd always play all these guys like Sammy Davis, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, and we'd have friends over or whatever. And he said, Larry, we're not listening to any more of your dead guys. But he dug it too, and I know Daryl will be making fun of me right now watching Sammy Davis and Nat King Cole. But I'm sorry, that's just classic, two legendary performers. I'm so glad that that is somehow preserved on tape somewhere, and nice job, Karen, digging that one up. All right. Before we leave Nat King Cole, I made reference to it a little bit earlier. You know, maybe his all-time signature song is probably Unforgettable, although the Christmas song, and we debated actually, should we show the Christmas song, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire? I mean, that's as signature as it gets, Nat King Cole singing the Christmas song, but it's a little bit early in the season for that. I mean, we are still in October here, so we can't show them all. There's so many. So we passed on that. But, you know, that and Unforgettable. And, of course, in the 90s, I believe it was it 1991, Karen? I believe it was. It might have been 1991 that Natalie Cole, first did a mix where she took, her father had already passed away, of course, and she took video footage. He passed away in 1965. So literally 25 years or 26 years after he passed away, she took some preserved video of her father singing Unforgettable, and she had a screen. I actually went to two of her concerts, one at the Paris, the Paris Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, and also another one out in Pasadena, because I'm a big fan of Natalie Cole. And I saw that concert twice where they bring a screen, they drop it down. She made a video of it, of course, and they show her father, and she sings with her father, digitally remastered, Unforgettable. And we didn't want to leave this segment without showing that number. So here it is, Nat King Cole and Natalie Cole, Unforgettable.
I'd like to have someone join me on this next song. Someone who I'm sure needs no introduction, because the first word says it all.
Unforgettable.
that's what you are.
Unforgettable, though near or far,
like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me never before. Has someone been more
unforgettable in every way,
and forevermore, that's how you'll stay.
That's how you'll stay.
That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Thanks, Dad.
I'll tell you what, I just got back from 4 days in Las Vegas, and I got to spend 3 days with my daughter, and Phyllis and I had a great time, and it was great, reconnecting with my baby a little bit. She's 29 years old, and I love father-daughter stuff, and I mean, seeing that is just, to me, it's chilling. Natalie Cole and Nat King Cole, wow, that was just awesome. That's going to conclude our little bit here tonight on Nat King Cole and In the Groove. And we're going to go to Always Chasing Rainbows. But, while we were, off camera here a little bit, the guys here, Frankie and Anthony, they've never seen What I Do at Shop NBC for Sterling Original. We're going to be there next week in Minneapolis, starting at midnight next Wednesday night. So we're not going to be here. Chilling with Larry Megan is going to have to skip a week because I'm going to be in Minneapolis, and we've got a special offer. I'll give you a little heads up. We're not supposed to say anything, but if you're watching Chilling with Larry Megan, you heard it here first. It's a new version of the Alpine. It's going to be, below $100, and I don't know the exact price, but it's pretty hot. This new version we've got, it's got the ST90089 movement, and it's got a new strap on it. It's really hot, and it's going to be a nice TTV. We've got a lot of new models we're going to be showing. I think I've got 8 or 9 hours. I'm going to be on for 4 hours with my friend Jim Skelton, 2 hours to launch it and 2 hours to close it. So that's going to be exciting. But they've never seen What I Do. So just for fun, okay, and that's all it is, I'm going to make a last pitch. I know I said the last one was the last pitch, but these guys like to see what I do here. So I'm going to make a last pitch here on the Symphony Menuet. If you're watching the show now, okay, you want to go to acorn.tv. There it is, acorn.tv, www.acorn.tv. You want to click on the Acorn Exchange, the Giant Oak offering. Get in there right now, okay? And you can pick this watch up for under $100. This is amazing. A mechanical automatic for under $100, but it's not just a mechanical automatic. This is not a three-hand skeleton here. We're talking about a master calendar off of a single mainspring, day, date, and month. Very elegant, and an AM/PM indicator at 6 o'clock. You see the sun and moon display down there at 6 o'clock. Breguet-style hands, 316L surgical grade stainless steel case, Cristerna crystal. I'm going to take this little camera here. I popped the sample up on my wrist here. If we can see this, check this out. 44 millimeter case design, as you can see right here. Guilloche Soleil dial, which is a sunray pattern. Solid stainless steel coin edge bezel, 44 millimeter case design. Check this out. Beautiful lugs, nice sloping lugs on this. 22 millimeter wide, genuine French leather strap with alligator embossing, and, yep, a push button dual deployant clasp on this. You would not expect that on a watch at this price point. So check this out, guys. You don't want to miss it. There aren't that many to go around. We're doing okay, but I've got some more. Thank you, Mr. Fisher, for setting this up. Let me get back here and put the camera back. Not so easy with these webcams to do this, guys. But in any case, you go to acorn.tv. You got to use the code word Brando, as in Marlon Brando, Brando, and you get a discount. It knocks it down to $97.75. Man, do not pass that up. If you're a watch geek, you got to get that one. Great gift item. Let's go to our Always Chasing Rainbows segment to close out the show. Let's do it.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of.
Well, listen, now these guys are, making fun of me because of the camera. I was being cut off the camera, but that's not easy to do where I'm holding a webcam in one hand and trying to show the watch in the other. In any case, Judy Garland, my all-time favorite. Every show we have a different, number or segment on Judy Garland. We have to show a little Judy in every show. But as a lot of you know, I love the Rat Pack, Frank, Sammy, and Dean. And in 1962, Judy Garland had a TV special, and it was Judy, Frank, and Dean. And just notice, we're going to show you a nice long number where you get to get all three of them here, Judy, Frank, and Dean. But notice the production values. They're practically non-existent. It's just the three of them standing on a pretty much vacant stage. Oh, there's a few props out there, but not much. It's just raw talent. Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Check it out.
Let there be Judy. Let there be Dean.
Let there be Frank.
You know what we mean. Let there be bluebirds,
a lark and a dove.
but first of all, please, 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 let there be love.
Because there's
nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. You might be king, you might possess the world and its gold. The gold won't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world still is the same, you'll never change it. As sure as the stars shine above, you're nobody, nobody, till somebody loves you. So find yourself somebody, get yourself somebody.
right, there they were. Let's do the Judy, Frank, and Dee number. Check it out.
You do something to me, something that simply mystifies me. Tell me, what can it be? You have the power to hypnotize me. Let me live beneath your spell. Do something to me that nobody else can do. You look marvelous.
I feel marvelous.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, I'm delighted to be here.
I think
You're not leaving me.
I was just going to go and get my fan.
I forbid you.
Oh, how marvelous.
You will be listening.
Every word.
You're irresistible.
I try to be.
You won't be long.
No, I'll be very close by, too.
Promise?
I swear it. Swear it.
You're just too marvelous for words. Like a glorious, glamorous, and that old standby amorous. It's all too wonderful. I'll never find the words that say enough, tell enough. I mean, they just aren't swell enough. You're much too much, and just too very, very to ever be in Webster's dictionary. And so I'm borrowing a love song from the birds to tell you that you're marvelous, too marvelous, two words. You're much, much, much too much, and just too very, very to ever be in Webster's dictionary. And so I'm borrowing a love song from the birds to tell you that you're marvelous, tell you that you're wonderful, tell you that you're marvelous, too marvelous.
That's for being so good. Oh, you're so good. You're so good.
You enjoyed it?
Oh, yes, I
You
did.
liked it?
I loved it.
Good.
You do something to me, something that simply mystifies me. Tell me, what can it be? You have the power to hypnotize me. Let me live beneath your spell. Do that, do that. You do so well, for you do something to me that nobody else can do. You look marvelous.
I think he looks terrible.
You look marvelous.
Up for your marriage.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad I'm here too, Judy. Where are you going?
Well, I thought I'd just go and get my fan.
No, you come here.
Oh, how marvelous.
There's something I want you to hear, and you'll be listening?
Every word.
Honest? Promise?
I swear.
Okay. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, I bet you drove the other boys wild. And when it came to wind blue ribbon, I bet you showed the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. I bet you made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby. 'Cause baby, look at you now. I must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, I bet you drove the little boys wild. And when it came to wind blue ribbon, I bet you showed the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes, and they slapped you with a prize. Bet you made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been an adorable baby. 'Cause baby, look at you now.
That's for being so good. Oh, you're so
I was good. I was
You're
good.
So
Oh, I was
good.
Yeah. You enjoyed it?
Yes.
Every bit of it?
I loved it.
How come I got no flour?
Come with me. Thank you, Frankie. Let me.
Let me.
Let me. Let me live under your spell. Come on, keep doing that. Doing that. You're doing so well. 'Cause you do something to me that nobody else can do. That nobody else can do.
Well, listen, that's it for tonight. Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. I could watch that whole show, by the way, is great. You can get that on DVD also. Judy does an incredible number of The Man That Got Away, and then the duet with Sinatra and Dean Martin about somebody else. That's amazing. So you ought to get that too. In any case, it's been a blast. Anthony, thank you for doing a great job tonight. Karen, thank you for all the research. I want to thank everybody out there for the response to the Acorn Exchange. We really do appreciate it. Now listen, we're going to be back in 2 weeks because next week I'm going to be in Minneapolis. So no Chilling with Larry next week. Maybe we'll run a replay of one of the shows. I'll let you pick it, guys. But we'll replay one of the previous 11 episodes of Chillin', and I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new show. So until then, remember, follow your dreams, never give up, always keep chasing those rainbows. I'm Larry Megan. Peace, love, and all good things.
Chillin' with Larry Megan.